I love coffee. Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. So, you're considering quitting coffee and want to know what you're in for the first few days of when you quit. I hope I can give you an idea of that in this video. I tried to quit coffee for 5 days, and here's what happened. I'm going to give you the full story. All right, stick around. All right, if you're new to the channel, I'm someone who's been on the self-improvement journey for a while now, and two of the goals I'm most proud of achieving so far is my goal physique. I'll throw up a picture somewhere over here, and going from dead broke to having a six-figure job in about 2 years' time. And in this channel, I basically share self-improvement tips. I document my journey, and I also share things that I found most useful to help you out as well. So if that sounds interesting at all, please do subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's dive into the video. I do have some notes in front of me, by the way, so if I'm looking down at any point, I'm just looking at my notes. All right. So firstly, for a little bit of context, I wanted to quit caffeine for a long time, right? And I've been using caffeine just about every day since I was at least 13, maybe even younger. And the reason for that is caffeine, especially tea, is very popular in my culture. So I was drinking tea, with family and such things from a very young age. And again, multiple times a day. You have it in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. I would say minimum about 2 times a day I was drinking tea, right? And I've wanted to, again, quit caffeine for a long time. So I've tried a few times before, wasn't really able to do it. So this time I decided, hey, I'm going to do it again, but I decided to do something different. Before, when I would try to quit, I would, just try to quit even though I had coffee in the house and all that. I would just try to quit. But I knew that that wasn't working for me because last few times, as soon as I had coffee in the house, I would crack, right? So this time I used up all my coffee pods and I was like, okay, I'm not going to buy any more coffee pods because if they're not in the house, then theoretically, I shouldn't be able to access the coffee and just not drink it. Now, starting from day number one of me quitting coffee, right? I had headaches. I was a little bit sick as well, so a little bit of headache was from the sickness. I'm still a little bit sick. But yeah, so a little bit of headache was from the sickness. But I knew that the caffeine effects were there because my productivity was significantly lower. I've worked when I was sick before. I work from home, so I'm not getting other people sick. But I've worked before when I'm sick, and I know the drop in productivity I get when I'm sick, and this was much lower than that. I just felt like I could not focus. Usually my focus is half decent, but it just wasn't happening. The focus wasn't happening. And at this point, what I did was in the morning, because it was kind of a ritual for me in the morning, I go get a cup of coffee, I sit down at my desk, I start working. And, the ritualistic part of it is something you miss quite a bit as well. So at this point, I missed the taste, the smell, and just having that warm cup of coffee. So what I did was I went in ahead and I still had decaf pods, right? So I got a cup of decaf coffee. But it just wasn't like I didn't even touch the cup, because it just wasn't, I knew it wasn't going to be the same feel. I've drank decaf coffee before. And it just, you don't get that, when you take that first sip of coffee and you get that feeling that, the caffeine's starting to kick in. You just don't get that with decaf. So I, I just couldn't, like, it just didn't appeal to me at all compared to regular coffee. I missed regular coffee. At day two, headaches, no focus, and a lot of fatigue. You know what? I tell you, I quit caffeine because before I used to have a lot of caffeine. Now at least I've reduced to 1 cup of coffee a day. The very first time I straight up quit caffeine, and that was going from multiple cups of tea and even coffee and pre-workout to nothing. Literally, I remember this so well that it blew my mind. I could not get off the couch. I was like, I was laying, that's how tired, and I was surprised that this is how much of an effect it had on me. I was laying down on the couch and I had the worst fatigue. I felt like I could not move a muscle even if I wanted to. Like, that's how bad it was. I was exhausted. I've never been that exhausted in my life before. But now I've cut down to, again, for the past, I want to say at least a year, I've only been having 1 cup of coffee a day. So now I think my dependence on coffee was quite a bit lower. But still, headaches, no focus, fatigue, and I was still missing the taste and actually having that cup of coffee with me. Day three, more of the same. But one interesting thing that happened around this time was I was missing the taste and the actual, wanting a cup of coffee in front of me a lot less now. I didn't really care about the fact that I didn't have coffee in front of me. I just missed that, initial caffeine rush that helped me focus. So I was still getting headaches. I was still fatigued. It was so bad that honestly, this is gonna sound silly, but it was so bad that I was literally. I remember working. I was at this exact desk, right, and I was just like this, because my head was just throbbing and I couldn't take it and I couldn't focus. So I literally had to like set a timer on my phone for 5 minutes because of course I didn't want to just fall asleep like this. But like in the morning, I was just sitting like this, and it was again the weirdest thing. It's weird to me because you don't realize how dependent you are on coffee just to get you through the morning until you try to quit it. So to this point, to this day, it kind of blows my mind how dependent I've become. But yeah, that's the truth. Like I was just right against this wall here. I was leaning, just waiting for that headache to go away. Day 4. All right, my camera died there, so my camera needs some coffee as well, apparently. But let's continue. We were on day 4, so day 4, more of the same, right? Headaches, no focus, a lot of fatigue, and what's interesting at this point though is that I did start to miss or start to stop missing the actual coffee aspect less and less, right? Like I didn't really care about again having the cup of coffee in front of me, but I just wanted something to give me that jolt of energy and just that caffeine feel. But I didn't really care as much about the coffee, taste and smell and such things at this point. And day 5, something very interesting happened. So day 5 was a day I cracked. I couldn't take it anymore. I woke up. I remember waking up again right at this desk. This is where I work, and I was just staring at a work problem, and it felt like it was just going in one ear out the other. Like nothing was making sense. I was barely processing it. I again did that 5 minute thing where I set my phone timer on 5 minutes, and I was kind of just laying down for a little bit, trying to get the headache to stop. And I just, I didn't have the pods because that was one of the things that I hoped would help me quit is not having the actual pods in my house. So what I did was I ended up door dashing some Starbucks, and right after that I went on Amazon and bought some pods because I knew the disadvantage I was getting from a work, and work is very important to me, right? I do like excelling at work and doing good at work. So the disadvantage I was getting from a productivity and from a work point of view at this point were not worth the benefits of quitting coffee. Again, it's not like I really got the full benefits. It was only 5 days. So who knows what kind of benefits await me later on. And I will say this, coffee is definitely something I want to quit in the future. It's just not something I want to give maybe the most priority right now. Like right now, I'm doing a bunch of things. I have a workout schedule I stay consistent with, doing kickboxing and a bunch of things where easily anywhere from 8 to 10 hours of my day, usually on weekdays, are busy. So there's like 8 hours just of work, of course, and then on top of that, there's 2 to 3 hours on other activities, and it all requires a lot of willpower, a lot of discipline. And I'll be honest, my willpower is kind of maybe too drained to quit coffee at this point, and I think that's part of the reason I cracked. So definitely, again, something I want to do in the future, but for now, I'm gonna hold off on it. And that is everything I had, right? So again, I might try it again, but the shit isn't easy, right? That's I guess the main conclusion I've reached at this point. So hey, I hope this helps you out, and honestly, I hope you have a better experience trying to quit a coffee. I wish you nothing but the best, and I hope you're able to do it. Please do like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.